Why, hello there, Mirkwood and Lothlorien elves alike. Shams Nelson here from Fantastic Anatomy, and in this exciting episode of Fantastic Anatomy, we're going to be starting off on a new adventure, drawing all sorts of different races, um, in the Fantastic Anatomy style. And we're going to start off with the elven kind, because I think that is a very iconic race. So let's talk a little bit about the elves. And you might notice that I skipped a number, and that's because I got to do hair as a general fan in the general series, but I'm not very good at hair. Gotta study that. So I think that the elves developed in in my mind there are three large influences for the elves, and that's Lord of the Rings, and then what is it? Oh yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, of course, and World of Warcraft. So we can. I'm gonna end with Lord of the Rings. Let's start with World of Warcraft because that is the most strange depiction, but it's also um, kind of accentuates some of the features that make an elf an elf. So here we got the Night Elves. They were the original elves of the World of Warcraft series. Look at these ears. That if you take one thing away from for this how to draw an elf tutorial, is if you put long pointy ears on like a human looking person, then they're an elf. They're an elf. And accentuated eyebrows. Now they really took this to the next level. All right. And I guess magical eyes. I don't know. Usually elves don't tend to have facial hair, but these guys do. So going into D&D, this is the picture that from 3.5 Player's Handbook is the one that defines the elf best for me. This is the one I always think of. And look at the slant on the eyes and the slant here. Look at right up here. So I'll give you a second to soak this in. I think it's better taken in just intuitively. And of course you got the pointed ears, but these instead of pointing out are going to go more straight up and down. And the most realistic elves, I guess because it was live action, are the Lord of the Rings elves. But you'll still see some of these characteristic features. The softer, rounder features, a little bit more feminine. The pointed ears, of course. Glorious eyebrows. Tiaras, apparently. Tiaras are extremely elvish. And beautiful hair, I think, is also another defining feature that tends to be long. So let's go ahead and start drawing some elves. And what we're going to do for these, with the male and female, or I mean with the races, we're going to draw male and female. So hopefully I'll be able to draw a female character. So we're going to give her a little more pointed chin. And we're going to do it in a Fantastic Anatomy style, of course. Alright. And we'll keep this general, and then we can refine the features as we go along. So let's get the skull going on. And so for the skull, even let's consider this. So this is going to be the male on the left. Let's consider these angles that that we saw in the D&D 3.5. Okay, and then let's also bring this in, because we want them to be a little more slender faced, but let's give them a pretty decent chin, and we're still gonna give them a jaw, like an angular jaw. All right, and we'll give this guy less pronounced ears, and then we'll give her more pronounced ones. And so the ears, usually the ears go from the nose to the eyebrow or the eye. I can't remember if it's the eyebrow or the eye. I think it's just to the eye. Should be something like this. But I think with the elves you can move it all the way up. Let's see what it looks like if you just okay. So let's leave it really normal and just give some tips on that. But if you wanted to accentuate the elvenness more. You can move it up a little bit, I think, and move it out a little bit. Okay. And a little bit lower. So let's go over to the lady and kind of work on the same thing. And give her slightly larger eye sockets and actually move her and have a higher forehead. And the facial features should be a little closer together. Looks like she's got attitude already. Uh-oh. And let's give her some like night elven ears. So we're still gonna stick like bottom of the nose here, bottom of it, and then just go straight out. Cool. And for the neck, I know someone, I forget your name, sorry, but asked about a female neck tutorial. It's basically just thinner, so you think of the back of the neck, the back of the head here, and this comes down thin like this. And these, instead of coming out, so let's go here, so on a male, you might want the neck to be a little thicker, getting closer to the edge of here. On an elf, we don't want it too thick, but we can make it thin but still look strong by having a very subtle concave, I guess. Well, this one is subtly curving in like that. See the difference? So this guy is coming in like that. And see, by doing, if you have, and it's opposite on the inside. So this is like a big muscle puffed out, is the idea. Okay? And so that'll make the neck more muscular, or more masculine and muscular. And doing it the other way here is just a thin, like the tendon with not too much muscle on it. So it's going to be more feminine. And of course, you can give them a little Adam's apple. And then these coming out, it's going to be more muscular, so it tends to be more masculine. Okay, stop right there for now. So I think that's as far as we've gotten in our Fantastic Anatomy series. I want to focus on the head and shoulders, and then one day we'll do the whole body. And so hers are the opposite again. Like yin and yang. Alright? Cool. And then this kind of swoops in one motion almost. Well, this guy has a separation here where the shoulder is gonna, the shoulder kind of puffs out a bit because it's more muscular. Okay, cool. So we've got our elf guy and our lady. I think we can. Alright, we'll go with that for now. Alright. So, what else? We're gonna get to the facial features now. So we got our basic thing, and let's give her a higher, and a less angular brow line. Okay, cool. So for the facial features, you can have them on a slight slant. You don't need to so much. I'll do that for the lady, so you can see the effect. But with all the other features going on, I mean, you can just draw any face you want at this point, I think. And he should be, well, not necessarily. They should have somewhat smaller features. Big eyes, okay. And one way to make the eyes seem bigger on a lady, because a lady should have bigger eyes even, two things. One, you can extend this out a little bit and make it darker, so it's like overhanging. These shouldn't have too many creases, maybe one if you want. Then there's more space here. And let's give her, so we went night elf, so let's give her dynamic eyebrows. So we're going to follow this curve for the beginning, and then we can just have it go out as far as we want. Cool. And small nose. And then the nose point thing was, see the angle going down like this? And I think that's more a D&D thing, but it's nice to keep in mind. And fuller lips because it's female, so let me make this a little smaller. Oops. Alright. I don't want to get too into details or anything. Okay. And then we'll keep this smooth. Bring down to a pointed chin. Like that. Cool. So she's looking pretty elvish. And for the ears, I follow the same, at least, the same structure that I do for any ear. And I think I already have a video on the ear. I'm sure to link it at the end, or you can just search, Fantastic Anatomy ear video. Alright, cool. So I think we pretty much built her out, and I probably won't do hair now because that won't add too much, but just make her hair beautiful, because, and also my hair drawing skills, I'm not feeling them. So I can make this guy. So his eyes aren't at an angle. So let's see how much less elfish this makes him. And same with his nose. Now, if his only feature basically that makes him elvish, maybe give him somewhat distinguished eyebrows. I mean, I think that is kind of the idea, though. I like his lazy eye there. Let's try to match these up. So, symmetry is pretty important. So it's very important, actually. It's probably the most important. If you make an ugly looking face, but it's super symmetrical, it'll be like, okay, that's just a crazy looking dude. But if you don't make it ugly looking face, not symmetrical, then it's like, oh, that's just a bad drawing. It's weird, try it. You see I'm trying to match it, the distance here to here. I don't know if I'm doing it perfectly in the shape, in the bottom, bottom. Not really, but it's better than before. What I need to do is this one thing. Oops. Alright, well, I'm not going to nitpick on details. I think you guys get the idea. I think this guy looks elvish, right? You let me know. If he doesn't look elvish, make sure to be rude about it in the comments. It's always good to be humbled. I don't want my ego getting out of line. So let's see, can we do anything more to make him more elvish? He's not like, not feeling it. Let's see what happens if we give him a bigger nose. Will he be less elvish? No. He's still got the elven ears. I think if we gave him like a really giant nose, then he might be less elvish. I think the eraser I'm using is a little harsh. Alright, let's just erase it back to a line. Ew, it's creeping me out. Alright, this is really creeping me out. I think I'm gonna call it a night. I think I'm tired. I'm tired, you guys. Alright, he's elvish enough. Anyways, so that's it. If you want to make a little more, maybe his neck's too thick. Elves usually are not built like that. So let's actually undo that a little bit. And then if you want him to be thin, like, okay, let's say we make his neck thin. You're like, but I still want him to be muscular. Give him his muscle down at the end. See what I'm saying? It's like a longer, like, not stringier. There's a good word for it. Sinuous? I don't know, but see how it looks strong, but it's not like the slow muscle, it's the fast muscle. Or the more like realistic, like tribal muscle. Like tribal folks might get buff, but they're not going to be bodybuilders because they're not consuming ridiculous amounts of calories and stuff like that. Alright, cool. So I hope this was helpful. I'm excited to do the second most iconic character I think I'm going to do next in the series, the second most iconic race, and I would say that's the dwarves. But for the third, I'm not sure. So let me know if you have any ideas for that. Till next time, peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.